everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing well. This is the second episode of Makeup Movie Impressions, and I'm so excited because I love this movie, this book, this concept, the characters, everything about it is so amazing. And I'm sorry if the lighting is too not good because it's raining outside and I don't have any natural light on my side, and I just had to shoot it. I couldn't wait for natural light because I'm running way behind my schedule. My phone acted up, I lost all my videos, and I had to factory reset my phone. A lot happened, I was sad, running out of breath. It's okay, it's alright. Anyway, so bring on your flapper dresses or something that looks similar to flapper dresses because we are going to be taking a deep dive into the 1920s with the makeup movie impressions of The Great Gatsby, one of my all-time favorite movies. I'm going to start off my makeup right away, and as I do that, I'm going to be talking a little about the characters first, and then I'm going to going into the movie. I already have my notes ready here, which I made earlier. I cannot see because I'm not wearing my specs, so what's even the point anymore? A little about 1920s and the book The Great Gatsby. People did not like The Great Gatsby when it initially came out because it was released in the later part of 1920s by the time it went into production and all of that. And immediately after, America suffered through the Wall Street crash and the Great Depression, so everybody was really not vibing with the entire rich lifestyle theme of The Great Gatsby and the American dream theme of The Great Gatsby. So the book did not receive a lot of love and a lot of critical acclaim, but it is considered a piece of classic literature today, and I hope the same happens for the movie like 10 years down the line, so who knows. Something about 1920s and the makeup in 1920s. From the look of Daisy in the movie, I noticed that she has a very dewy makeup on. I'm not sure if I can entirely recreate a dewy look because both my foundations are a matte based foundation, but I'm going to work on my pre-prep so that it looks somewhat similar, if not exactly the same. And yeah, I think I'm going to dive right into it. I'm going to be preparing off my face with my aloe gel and my moisturizer to make it as shiny as possible because I really need to work on that. And then I'm going to be diving into my eye makeup, my base makeup, and talking about the movie. Now, The Great Gatsby, even as a movie, did not receive a lot of love when it came out in the theaters. I did a little bit of research on this for my 12th grade movie review assignment, which I never had to write because I don't know why, I'm just not as lucky. But what I got to know is that the critics did not really like it, and through all the reviews I either read that it was underwhelming or it wasn't what people were expecting. But when I personally watched the movie, it was something that I generally enjoy in movies: the entire old American aesthetic, the really warm tone colors, like the kind of colors in which even blues and pinks are more warm tone than cold tone, and the entire cinematography, the music. Oh my god, Lana Del Rey singing Young and Beautiful is everything that a person can ask for. And it's just, I personally really enjoyed the movie, so whatever I'm going to be saying is going to be a very biased view, putting it out there right now, and there might be some minor spoilers as we go ahead, so yeah, just keep that in mind. I'm going to start off by talking about Nick, who is the narrating character of the book as well as the movie. Nick Carraway, portrayed by Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, always. I feel that if there was a person who could do Nick Carraway, it's Tobey Maguire. There is no other person I can imagine playing a character like him. He is this lost person who's just moved to New York, and he's just starting off something new after the war, and it's just that entire lost boy feel that Tobey Maguire has is just what Nick Carraway demands, and he totally delivers with that. So I really enjoy that bit. The most important thing to remember about Nick's character is that we see the story or we read the story through his eyes and our personal perception of the events that are happening are greatly influenced by his perception. So when he is doubtful of something, we know that all right, we should be doubtful of this too. If he is experiencing something absolutely overwhelming, the audience will also feel overwhelmed. And I'm obliged to mention this one scene in the movie, which is something that I absolutely love in this movie as well as in The Aviator. It's a scene in the beginning of the movie, not the absolute beginning, but in the early stages of the movie when the story is still being established, where Tom and Nick go to a plaza, the plaza in New York, and they book a room and they party, and there's Tom's mistress and his mistress's sister, and they are all partying and they are all sloshed and probably drugged, and there's a lot going on. But the way this scene has been filmed, you can feel the emotions that are going through Nick in that moment. The time where Nick is anxious, the time where Nick is overwhelmed, the time where Nick is absolutely unaware of what's happening, and then that strike of ascendance in his mind. You can all feel it simply through the way it has been filmed, and it's probably one of my most favorite scenes in the movie. Another important thing to know about Nick is that he is a facilitator of the story, not so much as a central character. You can always think of him as a central character because the movie starts with him and ends with him, but he is there to facilitate the things that are happening around him and not really have his own centered motives. Nick's world, and we are living in it. Alright, I'm just gonna take a break for a while and I'm going to do my next step of the makeup, and that is going to be my eyes. So also the women in 1920s had really thin eyebrows. For that I would have to glue my eyebrows and then draw on again, and I am not very jazzed out about the idea of gluing down my eyebrows, so I'm going to skip that. And yeah, girls who bullied me in 8th grade about having thick eyebrows, this is your moment, take it. Anyway, so my eyes, I'm going to be using a kohl pencil. You can use your normal twisty eyeliner thingy, or you can use a gel liner if you have one of those. If you have a felt tip liner, then it might be a little difficult to work with it, but yeah, that's what this is. So I'm going to be taking my kohl pencil and I'm going to be taking a brush to smudge it out, and I'm going to be drawing really thick lines over my eyelids and then smudging them out. Now you have to remember that these lines don't have to be straight or perfect, they can be crooked because we are going to be smudging them out anyway. Once I'm done drawing these, I'm going to be taking my brush and smudging them out while I talk about our character Daisy, who we are dressing up as today. I don't know why I didn't mention this in the intro. Guess I was really overwhelmed. Anyway, I'm going to be smudging this in and talking about Daisy. Now, Daisy is a really complex, layered character of the movie. She is this character which no one wants to relate to, but everybody can. Daisy, in a sense, is the element that drives the story. Now, when you see the Avengers, which I see a lot and I couldn't think of any other example, when you see a movie like the Avengers, you kind of just realize that what drives them is saving the earth from villains, or even like any other superhero movie for that matter. But in this particular movie, it's a human which is driving them. It's Daisy is the driving element, and that's what I can say about it. Now, when you are smudging this out, just remember to take a little bit and just circle it around this part of your eye, this part of your eye, so that it gives it a more rounded look, the kind of eyes that women would want to have in that age. I have hooded eyes and I hate that, so. But we're going to move on with this. And Daisy, yes, Daisy is that character in the movie which reveals the two-faced character and nature of the society in every aspect, be it social, be it economical, be it romantic. I don't know. She just really is the element which exposes all of these willingly or unwillingly. So that's Daisy for you. She is a wild character, but she's wild because she has been subjected to the same amount of criticism that she is representing. So that's something about Daisy. She's a complex character. Alright, once I'm done with this, I'm just going to take a little bit of my concealer, which is just my foundation in a much lighter shade. It's not a concealer. And I'm going to be applying it in the circle of in the middle of my eyes to make it look a little lighter. I'm not trying to create a cut crease look. I'm just trying to blend it in properly. Once that is out of the way, I'm going to be taking some brown eyeshadow, and I am just going to be blending in the outer corner of my eyes, the ones we rounded with the black kajal, and that is going to be all for my eyes. And while I do that, I want to talk about our last character so that I can just devote the remaining part to the movie and what I think about it and about the supporting characters. So yeah, Jay Gatsby is only as great as Nick's imagination, because whatever we get to hear about him is what he tells Nick and what Nick thinks of him. That's it for my eyes. And yeah, about Jay Gatsby, as I told earlier, he is just as good as Nick's perception, because everything about him we get to know through Nick. We know what we know about Gatsby because he tells Nick that, and Nick perceives it in a certain way, and we only get to see Nick's perception of it. We see Nick's side of the story on perceiving Gatsby. So Gatsby is your textbook hopeless romantic, and like every other Leo's characters, he has a homicidal love interest. So that is something. He is the flip side of Daisy. He is, when on one side you see that Daisy is submitting to these economical and social standards and classifications that have been made, you see Gatsby is constantly breaking out of them. And even in the last moments of the movie, you see that they are flip sides of each other. And that is so beautiful. That has been so beautifully represented in the movie. And believe it or not, I just came up with this on the spot, and I realized how amazingly they have portrayed that, and I love that about the movie. There is one more character, Tom. He is mostly a supporting character, but he's a major douchebag, and he does act as a pivotal character. But what I'll say about Tom is that if Daisy and Gatsby are two sides of the same coin, then Tom is that person who flips the coin and tosses with people's lives. So yeah, that's Tom. Moving on with my makeup, I'm going to be doing my base now. So I'm going to be using this lighter foundation for under my eyes and darker areas, and I'm going to be using this regular foundation for the rest of my face. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to be back. Alright, now we're done talking about all the characters. I'm done doing my base. I also did a little bit of my eyebrows, just extended this because that's how it used to be. Now I'm just left with my blush, for which I'm also going to be using a lipstick because they liked really dark blush. And I'm going to be talking about my final thoughts on the movie before doing my hair. Now, The Great Gatsby was not a very loved book, as I said earlier, because of how it triggered the people who were supposed to be its, audience. And I feel that The Great Gatsby is a movie which will always be something that the people will not want to see because of how real it gets in certain aspects, because of how real some of its dialogues get, and how real some of the things that it contains gets. And I'm not a professional, so I cannot talk for the possible mistakes that the filmmakers made and the possible mistakes that the actors made. But you know what I can talk about? I can talk about how relevant the issues that presented in The Great Gatsby are. They were relevant in 1920, they are relevant in 2020. It's a whole century and everything is still so relevant. It has tones with sociology, psychology, economics, everything, it's just It's a story of a man who does so much for love, and his I'm so sorry, his how his story ends, how what happens to him. Also, I forgot I'm not supposed to do this on my nose. Just have a habit, so I'm just going to take this off. So, that's about The Great Gatsby. If you are a person who likes to, really pick the brains out of a movie and go thinking about the symbolisms in the movie and the the symbolisms, the um, character analysis, what it represents, how it happened. If you would really like going deep into those things, then I feel The Great Gatsby is definitely a movie for you, and you should totally watch it. And even if not, it's a good watch for just watching on a surface level. Trust me. Alright, so that's my makeup look. For my hair, I am not going to be straightening my entire hair because my hair suffers a lot of heat damage. But what I am going to do is and yeah, that will be my 1920s look. And yeah, that's that. I hope I did well in this video. This is the second time I was shooting it, and I feel the first time was so much better, but the video quality wasn't as good. So I'm not sure if this is going to go up or that one is going to go up, but either one of these is going to go up. So yeah, I hope you guys like this. Let me know what you think about The Great Gatsby. Put your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this, and press the bell icon because clearly I don't have my posting schedule figured out. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.